I'm going to thank everyone for joining us. My name is Dan Mansour. I graduated in 1975. I've been assisting the campaign at West, and it's wonderful to be connected to this effort and these wonderful people. I'm going to turn this over to Carl. I am going to, our presenters will be introducing themselves, and I'm going to put on the screen, I hope, a set of slides that we should all be able to enjoy. If you give me one moment. Is this showing up on people's screens?
Yes.
Yeah.
Appropriately?
No, you
Yeah.
gotta full screen it. We're seeing your slides down the left. We're seeing
Okay.
a full.
Let me try one more time.
Online, if you want to.
You had it shared. You just needed to do the slideshow.
You're good now, Dan.
All righty.
Yep, that's good.
And are you seeing a second slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we're in business. Carl, Carl Bryan.
Sounds good. Everybody, my name is Carl Bryan. I'm class of 1987, and I am extremely happy that everybody's here. I'm also pretty happy to be, when I was asked to be involved as the campaign chair, because this matters a lot to me. It matters to me because I think that the campaign and the 3 building projects associated with it are going to do a heck of a lot towards getting kids engaged in school. Let me tell you a very short story, and I'll be brief. In 9th grade, I was not very connected to West High School. I was pretty aloof, and I did gymnastics, I did some sports. 10th grade, got a little bit more engaged. Again, the sports, for the most part. Ceramics turned out to be something I was interested in as well. I noticed that some of the kids doing the musicals were having a ball. And in 11th grade, I said, okay, I'm gonna try out. I've got no business trying out for the music. I'm not a musician. I'm not in a single choir class. I can't sing, but I try out. I think I sang something from, I don't know what song I sang, but Stan Haar, the music director, said, well, he can't sing, but he's not very loud. Nobody's going to be able to hear him, so it's not going to hurt anything. Yeah, go ahead, be in the musical. In 11th grade, I was in the musical, and I had an absolute blast. It was so much fun. I made connections with friends that I still have today. And the reason I'm telling, and 12th grade was just more of the same. And the reason I'm telling that story is because every one of you guys on this Zoom has a story like that. Maybe it wasn't a musical. Maybe it was academics. Maybe it was some sport. Maybe it was another activity. Maybe it was some combination. But every single one of you has something that connected you to West High School. If you didn't have that connection, you wouldn't be on this Zoom right now. You had it, and it mattered to you, and you know how important those connections were. The reason that matters is because that connection to high school, as an educator, what I see this campaign as is fostering those connections for future West students. These projects are going to enable deeper and broader connections to West students in a lot of different ways. And that's important. Those connections provide the motivation for academic achievement. And that's why this is so important to me. I'm gonna finish up because other people on the Zoom have more important things to say than I do. But I want to leave you with this. This is this campaign is philanthropy with a capital P. This is not a $500 bake sale to try and raise a little bit of money for t-shirts. This is not trying to raise $40,000 for a new stadium scoreboard. We're trying to raise $15 million in an extremely short amount of time. And we need you engaged. We need everybody engaged in this. Other people later in the Zoom are going to describe precisely how people can get engaged, but we need everybody involved in this campaign. I'm going to borrow a line from Lin-Manuel Noriega. We've got one shot at this. It's a good line. We got one shot. These types of building, the proposed projects are here now. And we don't have the luxury of sitting around for 5 years trying to tweak them. This opportunity is here right now, and we've got to act right now. And with that, I'm going to introduce Karen Baran, principal of West High School.
Hi, everybody. You know, Carl, I'm really struck by what you said. You said it very well. You know, one of the things was when I was writing to the board about this opportunity, you know, you in my position, you have to think generationally. What are we doing? The last time the building was touched was 50 years ago. This is, as Carl has said, borrowing from others, but our shot. I first came to West 4 years ago, and I was struck walking up the Ash Street steps of how imposing and amazing this beautiful old building is. I come to you from the south side of Chicago, and I've never worked in a school like this. It was just gorgeous. It's so beautiful. Land's End shot their 2019 back to school catalog. I have a copy in my office if you want to see it. So, you know, the school is photogenic, but you know what? The bridge leaks and the bathrooms are a little scary. And I'm not even going to talk about the pool. So the people in Madison knew, and they in 2020 passed a $315 million referendum by 80%. So the people want this. And so when we negotiated and talked with the contractors, and my team spoke to them and my kids spoke to them, you know, there's Anthony Kao on the call and Tony Zappia is on the call, and I saw Ian Lacoste on the call. Lots of West staff will tell you, a lot of input. And they came back and said, you know what, we can do this, but they could, and that the things that they could do were all the things that were on the slide. And that is good, and that is awesome. And please, when I tell you I am 10 classrooms short, and I am getting many, many classrooms from the referendum. But you know what? It's not just about classrooms. As Carl has said, it's about opportunity. And so the alumni group that has supported me over the last year started talking about raising money. And then this opportunity came. And then we began to work with Dan, the people on the fundraising team. And we started to go through what are the unmet needs. And the unmet needs, as you'll learn later, had to do with the pool. And Alicia Pelton, the amazing athletic director for West High, will tell you about the pool. She's really good with answers too. And then when I'm done, I'm going to turn it over to Anthony Kao, the equally amazing music director and music department chair of West High School, to talk about the redesign lab. But I'm here to talk about the atrium. So you remember that courtyard at West? Remember that courtyard? Yeah, well, let me tell you, it was put in the 70s or so, and it hasn't been touched since. And when I invited the chief custodian to sit down this spring when we came back, he looked at the picnic tables and said, oh no. Now, if your custodian won't sit in the picnic tables, Obviously, you can't ask the kids to sit in the picnic tables. It needs help. And during our visioning, we thought, what if? What if we enclose the atrium? We have 2,300 kids and 236 staff. They all eat lunch at the same time, and we have 180 places for them to sit. What if we enclosed the atrium and suddenly had all of the space on multiple levels? And when you look at the pictures, I'm looking at them now so I can talk to you, you can see the open space and the opportunity for collaboration and just the different levels and the light that can come in, and the space that currently isn't used at all could come alive and really be the heart of the school. I see a small coffee shop underneath it run by our special education students. I see this mostly because I'm an addict, but still, there's an opportunity here. It's now. And now I want to turn it over to Anthony to talk a little bit about the digital design studio.
Thank you so much, Dr. Baran, and thank you everybody for being here tonight. I'm so excited to see all of your faces, and my gosh, see the numbers next to your names. I'm kind of an amateur West historian. I've been spending a little bit of the quarantine time going through. There's this huge box of old pictures and old programs dating back all the way to the 30s, and my big goal is to hopefully scan all these things in soon. You're seeing on the slide pictures of the proposed music technology lab and recording studio. And whether you are a student in 2021 or you were singing in choir or playing in band or orchestra in the 1950s, some of these things are still the same. In our traditional band, choir, and orchestra classrooms, our standards are high, our performances are great. But you can imagine just the need to record yourself from time to time. Hey, what does that sound like? Right there in the rehearsal studio. I can do that with my phone with very poor speakers, very poor microphone. Sometimes, if you can think back when you were in high school, the amount of technology needed to do that just at the drop of a hat in your classroom would have been a huge thing for your teacher to accomplish. But with an integrated recording studio, we would be connected into our rooms to record high quality anytime we wanted to. So that's just in a very zoomed in, very traditional sense of like what it would mean for our performing arts students. Really, when it comes down to it, our music students, it would revolutionize their experience, both the kids in the traditional band, choir, and orchestra type classes, and all of these other type classes that may rise because of that. So if we start really, zoomed in at that traditional experience, we zoom out a little bit and we think about all of the kids, trying to put in a college entrance audition video or recording together, and suddenly some kids are able to afford a really high quality recording studio, and other kids are not. But we have it there at the school, and equity, everybody can access that. Zoom out further and think about the students sitting next to me or sitting just by themselves at the recording booths, learning all those fantastic skills about how to actually use that equipment and do professional level recording. Zoom out even further, and now we've got that space, and now all of the singer-songwriter kids and hip-hop musicians and everything that don't really find a place in band, choir, and orchestra. That's not really my thing. I'd rather just like play my guitar and do stuff. Well, we have a place in the music department that can be yours too. And I really see this as an amazing thing for our curriculum, but also as a community space. And as Carl was saying, what you'll remember years after high school are the things that helped you connect. And I feel like this recording studio, I can see once we have kids, with lots of kids with the recording studio chops and know-how, I can see this being a lunchtime and after school place that will be in high demand for a lot of budding artists that will want to do some recording. So I'm so grateful to be included in this fundraising campaign. I can't wait to introduce this kind of experience to future regents. So thank you very much for your time.
Alicia, are you with us?
I am. I'm actually right now over at Mansfield Stadium. We are hosting Middleton at our track at Memorial, and we just had a baseball game here. So I'm doing this from my car because I don't have space. I don't have an office at our facilities, and that's kind of where we're going with this, is that we have this really incredible opportunity. And as alumni, you know, and Carl said, and Karen said, this is the one time lifetime bill that we can have. And we have such a limited amount of space. And I'm going to tell you, kudos to the architects, because there are some things that originally weren't in the plan. And I was like, I have to have a few of these things, and they have squeezed them in. But with this build, there's a simple way, and I'll just kind of talk about the general athletics, to actually do something where we can get a return of investment that is so incredible for a small amount of money. And so some of the big issues at West, which is a lack of space, and the lack of space causes a lot of issues of our kids not having opportunities, and opportunities that not having opportunities is really unfortunate, because we kind of lose them along the way, and we can't build that community we really want. I mean, we currently right now, we have 2 full-size basketball courts. We have 2,300 students and 2 full-size basketball courts. So we can't host events and things like that on our courts because we just don't have enough. MSCR can't even do it. So currently we don't offer recreational sports for our students. We offer WIA sports, and yes, we are pretty good at some of them. But there's a demographic that doesn't get served because we can't offer certain things due to the lack of facilities, and that we have to travel around the city of Madison to actually access that. And it puts a lot of obstacles and barriers. And yes, we have kids that in families that easily overcome those barriers, but we have, we want to serve the whole entire West community of students, but also of youth who are coming up, and also of the growing senior population of 55 plus. And by adding these 3 simple little things, along with our turf fields and our fields events for track, which is going to be enormous, so that we can get more participation. I have driven across the state of Wisconsin and Minnesota, and I have talked to athletic directors and principals to say, what is the best way to use a really tight space? And the 3 things they came up with, the 3 things that we really need being in the city of Madison, is 3 additional lanes in our pool. 3 lanes would actually open up an incredible amount of swim lessons for MSCR. Right now, like, the waiting is up close to 1,000 people are on the waiting list. And being and surrounded by water, it's really important that youth have swimming lessons. But at the same time, by having 3 additional lanes, we can have the divers in the city of Madison actually have a pool to dive in at the same time the swim team practices. We can have multiple events going on at the same time by using just 3 more lanes. So we're just pushing out 3 lanes. The other thing we're looking at doing is being creative by building up. So we are looking at the gym, and we're getting 2 full-size courts, which is fantastic. So we're going to be up to 4 full-size courts. But by adding a suspended track, which is really common in urban schools, you actually open up a whole new area for use of space. So, and it can be used for multiple things. So we're talking physical therapy, special needs kids. It can be used during phy-ed class when kids are injured, they can't participate and they can walk around. And with that space, we are also adding some cardio equipment up there too as well. And if it rains outside, we're going to be able to move larger groups inside and they won't be fighting over the gym space because they'll be able to have access to that track and be able to walk around. And it's a simple, creative idea that would really solve and a lot of issues when it comes to space. I mean, it would also give, teachers the ability to walk during school too, if they get a little exercise for health and fitness. And we're looking at our 55 senior plus population, and they're looking for that need too. And the final ad that we're looking to do is actually a room, a simple fitness room, which we don't have at West. Karen talked about the cafeteria and opening up to the atrium, which is great. But that space in the cafeteria is the only space in the school right now. And that's used for after school for tutoring and and drumline and lots of different activities, because we're limited in our courts and we have to push everything into that cafeteria. So what this space does is it offers things that would normally have to go on the courts, like cheerleading and dance and a fitness studio during the day and fitness studio for seniors. And it's just being placed above the locker rooms. And so with our 3 additions that we're looking at, they are very simple, but they are crucially needed and be a great return of investment. And it would give the opportunity for us to offer recreational sports for our student athletes. And also think about other ways to offer recreational sports like badminton and talking to our demographics of our students to figure out what kind of sports they want so we can actually offer those activities and they can be involved and be part of that community. So I'm really excited about these 3 additions, and I'm hoping that we can get these through, because now is the time to do it as we're building, as it really helps. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Alicia. Carl mentioned, I think early on, that we're not talking about a bake sale here. Obviously, the numbers are staggering. One way we looked at this is the city of Madison has given us $70 million in a $85 million campaign. So we're almost at our goal already. We're just adding these enhancements. And if the city and the community believe in West, certainly the alumni and friends should do so as well. But this just gives you an idea. And certainly every gift is important to this campaign. But we want to share this to let people know, how do we get to our goal? And while we've just begun the effort and are starting to reach out both with individuals, classes, families, and interest groups, we are already getting just really wonderful responses from people who believe in this. I have to say that, having spent a career in nonprofit fundraising, I view the private-public partnership with public schools as sort of the last frontier of philanthropy. Public universities have done this over the last few decades to great success, but it's this private support that really provides a margin of excellence. The other benefit that's going to come out of this is a new re-engagement between alumni and the schools. As you can imagine, with almost 30,000 alumni of Madison West, the opportunity for those alumni and all of us to share our expertise, our experiences, our advice with students and faculty will pay unbelievable dividends, I think, to the quality of the experiences that our students and our faculty have. So what are we asking from you today? Really, we're asking you several things. One is certainly consider participating philanthropically in this effort. There's plenty of information in the chat and at the website on how to do that. We're also always available to answer follow-up questions you might have. We want you to advocate among your friends and classmates. For those of you today who are class representatives, I hope you will reach out to them. As representatives, I think you're very protective of that network of information and contact, but you're also advocates on behalf of West. We give nostalgically to our schools and to organizations, but this is really about creating the future. And we're really depending on the class reps to get the message out to their classmates. And one of the ways we can do that is through a class challenge, where we ask a few classmates to step forward. Let me just show you how we can do that. And this applies also to families and interest groups as well. But please share any contact information, knowing that that information will only be used for West High business. Post this information on social media. and emails. And if you can secure those 4 or 5 lead gifts, one class so far, my own class of 85, has received 55,000 from 6 classmates, and we're about to reach out to the balance of our classmates to join in that effort. And obviously, we can have a tremendous impact on the total bottom line if each of the classes comes forward. And then we ask the rest of the class, to help us out. I don't know if Jackie, if you can address upcoming activities. We do have some upcoming Zooms for all alumni.
I'll add them to the chat.
Okay, great. So over the course of the summer, we'll be conducting both some tours for those classes that are celebrating reunions for anyone who is interested, and also continue with some Zoom meetings, opening it up to more of the alumni. And we hope, again, you'll share that information.
Dan,
Yes.
I just wanted to personally invite, groups or classes, if you want to tour the building before they're doing asbestos abatement this summer, but we can still get you in, you have a good connection. If you want to see what West looks like now, we'd be honored to show you. Jackie will drop the form, we'll also send it out, but, and not just for the referendum, not just for this, but if you're ever interested in a tour for West, we're happy to show this beautiful building. Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Dan.
Sure. Well, that's really, that's what we wanted to share with you today. We would love to open this up to any questions and comments that you guys might have. And again, we're grateful that you've taken the time to join us today.
We've had a couple comments, questions here. The first one, I think Karen addressed it briefly, but I'll have her answer it more, is Eugene Brown said, I don't see any academic facilities here, and why? And I think Karen can explain that very well.
But Eugene, what a smart question. It's kind of like, where's the beef, if you're old enough to remember that? This is a school. Let's talk about furniture. Let's talk about walls. Let's talk about plumbing. Let's talk about those god-awful bathrooms. So with $70.2 million and the genius of our architect and the input of our staff and students, they've really developed a beautiful plan. And I think the last count is I'm getting 23 classrooms. Let me just say that again, 23 classrooms. I'm currently 10 classrooms short, which means that when this is done, there will actually be breathing room at West High. That's amazing. We won't have parking, but we'll have breathing room. So Eugene, you are right to question that, but I have to say I am very comfortable with the adaptations and upgrades that are proposed for the classrooms at West. Thank you for asking.
Very pleased to hear your answer.
Second question that came through the chat was from Greg, and I'm not going to try your Greg S. And his comment was, I'm coordinating the class of 1992 30th reunion. How can I use this to engage donations from attendees and at the same time use this as a way to promote the event? Dan, you may want to be able to answer.
Well, first of all, my email is in the chat. I just posted it. Please reach out to me afterwards. Yeah, Greg, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think one of the things that we can do as a community, as a class, is to marshal the excitement and the class spirit by asking people to contribute. Some classes traditionally have done a reunion gift. This is obviously a tremendous opportunity, and the timing is perfect. Without getting into the details of how to fundraise, the best is to look at your sort of list of classmates and see if there are 5 or 6 individuals who may be able to step up a little more generously. Then collectively, as we did in the class of 75, just sort of report to the rest of the class, hey, a few folks have stepped forward, they've raised X amount. We really want to get everyone to participate. Please join us in this effort so that when we return for our reunion, we can present a check to the school. But we can get into more details, but it's a great question, and we're hoping to do that. Let me just add as a parenthetical remark, my dream is to have all the 5-year reunions sort of pick the same weekend so we can celebrate together. I think it's as wonderful as it is to have individual class events. I think there's something very special about sort of seeing the collective spirit over the generations come together in a similar manner that universities have done that in the past. I guess my final remark is keep in mind that the 100th anniversary of West is a mere 9 years away, and we're going to be looking at an all alumni celebration as we near that event as well. I hope that answered your question, Greg, and please keep my email and I'll be happy to reach out to you. And by the way, all of us who presented today are available along with the slides if you'd like us to repeat this for your class, your interest group. We've done it for family members. We have one generation of three generations actually of family members who've gone to West, and actually a few of the family went to Memorial, and we've done presentations for that group as well, and we're happy to do it.
If I can add on to that, Greg, Speichschneider, did I say that right?
It's Spicinger, like spice.
Okay, I learned from my dad. Don't ever try. All right. Okay. So, two things that I want to add. You and everybody else that's here tonight, we're going to follow up. We'll send everybody a link tomorrow, and it's going to have an opportunity for you to fill out a form that basically says, look, you, for example, can say, I've got this thing coming up. I'm planning my reunion. I'd like to talk to somebody from the committee about how we can promote this event, the campaign through that. And I will follow up with you. Dan will follow up with you. Another committee member will follow up with you. Everybody here tonight is going to get that. So when you get the email tomorrow, fill out the form. You had a great idea. Other people are going to have other ideas for some type of activity that they'd like to do, some way that they'd like to promote. And we can, that's a way, by filling out that form, is a way that we can follow up with you in more detail than we probably have time for tonight.
And just real quick, I know this is a really large capital campaign. So is there like if you know high dollar individuals who can do a $250,000, $500,000 donation, what are there levels of recognition for those individuals for those more sizable donations, or I'm just asking?
Yes, there are. I mean, there's a variety, and we're still working on some of the strategies for that. The district has some very precise rules and regulations regarding naming opportunities. But if you would contact me or Carl directly, we can talk to you. We'd love to, talk to you about those people that you might be reaching out to and figure out if, either Karen as our principal or Alicia as our director of athletics might be involved in the contact as well. But yeah, there are some naming opportunities.
And what types of sizes of donations are you looking for? 5, 10, 20, or anything? Or I don't know.
Sizes, the more the merrier. I mean, yes, I mean, we're talking to some individuals about a 6-figure gift and some about a 7-figure gift. As you can imagine, campaigns don't succeed by everybody sort of giving $100, even if you've got 1 million people. There are those who can do more and do, and others are happy and are content with just making whatever contribution they can. So, every kind of gift is important to this, but our success, in particular with this campaign, will certainly be dependent upon a few individuals making 6- and 7-figure gifts.
I just know people who can do that. I can't do that.
Well, knowing is good too. So, yeah, Greg, that's exactly how we've approached and reached some people as classmates like yourself who, are know classmates who've done well and who are generous. And, that's how this nature of this campaign works.
One of the things, this might be a good time to talk about a little bit more detail about what we're asking people to do. I think obviously one thing is to contribute, but another thing that's very important is to get engaged in the committee work. This is philanthropy. This is about calling people you know, and telling them about the project and asking for a contribution. And we've provided some tools that everybody can use. We've got it in a folder. We'll share that in an email tomorrow. And for example, we've got a script that people can use. We've got links to the presentation. And we've also, again, this would be in the form, but suppose you wanted, Dan, I think you were alluding to this, if you wanted to make a call in conjunction with somebody on the committee, we can do that. This would also be a pretty good time to bring up events over the summer. This is about philanthropy and this is about making the big ask. And we're not all used to doing that. But that's a principle, something that we're asking everybody to do. And then you mentioned that, I know somebody that I could possibly ask. Other people on the call may not, but they may be interested in getting engaged and saying, look, if you help me out with, providing a little bit of the information about the campaign, maybe providing the names of some people to call, yeah, I'd be happy to make some calls. I can do that. That's another way that people could get engaged. We're not presuming that everybody has a rich uncle and is going to call them on the phone. We're trying to make it as easy as possible and to really broaden the idea of what it means to get involved in a philanthropy campaign and to get involved in making that ask creatively. Regarding events over the summer, at this point, we have started, and Alicia, maybe you want to jump in, or Jackie, you want to jump in, just to describe the event on the 14th. Because that's just a preliminary event. What we're looking for is a cascading effect. This Zoom right now is the first Zoom of the summer. And what we're hoping to do is have more of them after this, have people on the committee help publicize those subsequent Zooms, have people on the committee help publicize events that maybe, Alicia, you can talk about right now, and maybe create some new events that we haven't thought about yet. I know that music has come up as possibly another event that we could do in July. But Alicia, why don't you describe the preliminary plans we got so far on that?
So the event that's coming up on the 14th is we're focusing in on the swim alumni. Swim has been a really strong sport at West, and we're limited into who we can actually have on the team. So we actually have to cut versus there's a lot of swimmers and a lot of bigger demographic that wants to participate. So we are trying to reaching out to the alumni to say, hey, let's support this together and let's work together on this to build the pool, because swim is tight community in West and in Madison in general. And this is just going to open a lot of doors for not just West swimmers, but also all the city divers, all the Madison schools. We can hold events there, like invitationals and things like that, even sectionals. And so this is a really big event. And so we're just reaching in and trying to tap into that group and see if we can get them involved and engaged to compete against other teams to try to raise money. And get those
Alicia,
free
can you
links.
describe
Carl,
the
I
event?
can.
Thanks,
Hi,
Mel.
hi, everybody. Sorry I was late. My name is Melanie Thiel. I'm one of the assistant principals at West. So what we're doing is we're holding, it's kind of a social gathering informational event at Gates and Brovey. So one of our swim coaches knows somebody at Gates and Brovey. They're gonna give us a deal on some pizzas, and we're just gonna run a short presentation similar to the one that you saw tonight. We'll show people the plans, focusing really in on the pool, but really emphasizing the whole project. And then we're really gonna spend the time networking and giving people information similar to what happened tonight with you all. We'll have some QR codes where people can donate right then and And we're really using a jumping off some of those big donors and people that are really invested and want to and can invest, a large amount of money into a project such as this. So we'll be talking to them about different ways that they can do that, along with, tax contribution or tax implications and all of those types of things where they can get information about that. So, like Carl said, it's a jumping off point. We're going to use this as one event to just see how it goes. To get it organized, I just created a simple event, and Amanda Elmaker sent it out to about 250 people. Went out a day and a half ago. We've got 41 responses already. So we'll see how it goes. And we're hoping that this kind of snowballs and, kind of takes off and creates some of those smaller conversations that can lead to big bucks. Carl, what would you add? You were there at that meeting.
I think you hit everything.
Okay.
Anthony, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, we don't have,
I just want to introduce Anthony by way of this. If you don't know Anthony Cow, you may not be aware that in addition to being a fantastic musician and a fantastic an inspirational teacher at West High School, he's also pretty accomplished on the piano. And we got the preliminary ideas for an event this summer. And Anthony, if it involves piano karaoke, especially for people who may not be able to make it to Madison, I think that we got a pretty big thing on the books.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Carl. Yeah, in my spare time, in my side job, I play piano and sing whenever I can. I play dueling pianos at the Ivory Room Piano Bar in downtown Madison. Take requests, 50s, 60s, 70s, musical theater, country, hip hop, whatever, and can play a lot of songs. But also have hosted a lot of events through that bar and through that skill set that have been really successful fundraisers. I don't have a date set up yet because I guess what I'm looking for is somebody who would be interested in helping me organize that. We've got a space. I work and help to schedule the Ivory Room Piano Bar. So that's basic. As long as it's not a Friday or Saturday late night, we can probably make the timing work. We just need to pick a time, and I need some help with some people that think, yeah, I have some alumni that really love the music department, love the theater department. I can start to reach out and see if we can bring a crowd there. As they were talking about with this Gates and Brovey event, it can be slightly informational about next steps, or there can be some gift giving in way of requests and nominating people to come up and sing karaoke, all those kinds of things. It's we're wide open for any kind of musical experiences you want. Mel is in, yes.
I'm envisioning people from the class of 55 coming up and singing the piece they did in their musical.
I have those programs. They will all be scanned. I have to share it with this group. It's pretty phenomenal to go to see all these programs from all the way back to like 1933.
Anthony, it would be really cool if you came to our event on the 14th, at least stopped in and just see how we run it, and then we can adjust and tailor. And I think it's a great idea.
Thanks. I wish I could. As soon as school is over, like the second school is over, we are out of town. Like
good for you. You deserve that. Good for you. But we'll definitely help you plan it. I'm going to nominate Susan too. I don't know if she's on this call, but she's going to help plan.
I have a question. I don't understand, looking at the pictures of some of the proposals, I have trouble picturing where that is in the facility. For instance, the swimming pool. I was there when that pool was built in the early 60s. And I took swimming lessons there. The Madison Parks Department had their lifeguard training there. That pool was a small pool with not a lot of room around it. The picture you showed looked like it was 3 times as big and could not fit in where that pool used to be. So is the pool in a different area? And that's just one. You know,
Yep.
the
So-
music department used to be on the 4th floor, you know, in a little tiny room.
Yeah,
and
this
some
is why
bleachers.
Mr. Dubs, this is why we recommend that you come find a tour, bring your class of 63. The old pool is the exact same pool they made you swim naked in.
Yep.
And it is the exact same pool. And that will become many classrooms for us. And then as you can see from the screen, there is a new athletic addition that will house the new beautiful,
Okay.
and what we hope is a cross-course pool with the 3 lanes that Alicia Pelton was talking about earlier.
All right. The question I really have is, I've been looking for a reason to come to Madison this summer. Because we had a class reunion scheduled last summer that got canceled, and they didn't reschedule it this year. So I got to go to Madison. If I come to Madison, I'd like to go through the facility. Because I'd like to do something. But I'd like to go through the facility and not only see what it is now, because it's a lot different, but also see where all these proposals are and where these things are.
Sure.
For instance, you're talking about 20-some classrooms. Where are you going to put those? You know, that type of thing. There's a lot of additions on there that I haven't seen. You know, last time I was there, I don't know, a long time ago, 75th reunion, I think I was there and kind of went through the building. But I'd like to come in, and I don't know if someone's there all the time. I think one time I was there in the summer, I just walked in. There was nobody around.
Oh, please, we work all summer long. So really, Carl's going to follow up with you, and
Okay.
this is open to anyone. Melanie and I are happy, happy, happy. We get to work all summer long. So we're happy to give tours, and we know the plans really, really well. We are happy to talk about what the opportunities are, where it's going, what's being replaced. We're happy to do all of that. All you got to do is get some friends and let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I still have a lot of classmates in Madison, so, you know, I come and I like to visit them.
We've got I mentioned a form that we're going to send out tomorrow.
Right.
It's serving triple duty. One of the things through that form that you can do is say, hey, I'm interested in taking a tour. Here's some dates that work for me. And I think my party might be, it might be just me. It might be, I might have 10 people in my party.
Mm-hmm.
And through that form, just check your email. Through that form, you'll be able to specify.
Jackie just dropped it in the chat too, for anybody who's interested.
Okay.
So if you just want to go to the chat, the form is right in there. Lots of opportunities. It's probably best if you want to come and see the building. We are going to be asbestos abated this summer in preparation for the construction. So the whole Van Heist side of the building will be closed off, but they said we can, that it'll be open for driver's ed, and there are a few things going on. So definitely schedule it, because if you just came in the middle of summer, there probably won't be anybody there, but we're happy to come. Like Karen said, we work all summer long.
I've also put into the chat if all the schematics that are included in the referendum for West, so you can actually see a layout of the full school with details about what work is being done. Karen Peterson, you had a question?
Yeah, can we go back to the picture of the athletic department? What street is that the car is on?
Well, there are a few cars here. This is the corner of Highland and Regent. This used to be the old, I don't know what it was called, dealer
Monument?
rooms.
Memorial, monument.
The monument was right
Okay.
here. Yep.
Okay, good. Maybe
the-
you should put Regent Street on there.
Sure. Well, this is the architect's drawing, so
Oh, okay.
if I ask them, they'll charge us $4,000 to put the
Okay,
word
forget that.
Regent Street on there. So it'll be in a nice font, but it's still not worth it. So, but
Okay, thanks.
you bet. Thanks for asking. By the way, I just want to comment, I love architects, and these guys did a really remarkable job. They really paid attention to the historic nature of the school. If you even look at some of the detail work, the white lines in here are an homage to the different brick colors that exist in the school itself. As you can see here, just to the left of the stairs is a new welcome center, and they've taken into consideration the original windows, the steps, just all the detail work, which is really wonderful. And by the
Let me
way,
ask-
what you're looking at on the far left of this shot is the old swimming pool in the
All right.
basement there.
Let me ask you about that new welcome center. I noticed that on there because there used to be a door there that goes into the hallway that goes past the stage door. So I noticed that thing right off the bat because I had a key to that door and I had a key to the building. I could get in there anytime I want, 24 hours a day.
You're wondering who had that key?
I think I may still have it somewhere. But what is that? You called it a welcome center. Looks like there's some classrooms or something there as well.
That's the new entrance to the school.
What?
It's a new state-of-the-art entrance to the school.
It'll have a welcome desk. It'll allow, there are a lot of guests who come into the school, and it's really hard to control traffic in other parts of the school. Also in that facility will be an elevator, which for the first time will give people access to the music rooms. So essentially, if you had any mobility issues or a broken leg, you basically couldn't participate in the good old days. So I like to say we're taking a leap into the 1990s in terms of what we should be doing here. So,
hey, I'm Tony Zappi. I'm a teacher at West, and I think a big thing to understand about this too, like if you're from the class of like 90s, 80s, or 70s, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in that building. So really, the referendum is trying to bring us up to the 21st century. The other things, they're not even extra. They're trying to keep us competitive with being a successful high school nowadays. And so there's a lot of layers to this. And again, not just for equity for our students, community, it just it brings the school, again, to present day, the 21st century, instead of, trying to catch up. So again, I'm happy to give tours too. I got summer school, so I'm not going anywhere, Mr. Chaos, sorry, fuck you. But again, we're happy to show you the building, but the real important thing to understand is not much has changed in 50 years in this place.
Mr. Zappia, we heard that volunteering for tours. So Ms. Thiel and I thank you and say yes.
I think we're ready to wrap up. We could go longer if you want to, if you have questions. If this project and the comments from our faculty, our athletic director and others have inspired you, you can go to the Foundation for Madison Public Schools or the campaign website and consider what you personally can do. But we're also really hopeful that you'll spread the word among your network. We want to show the district that there is broad interest and broad appeal for this campaign. We've already received just a remarkable response from the individuals we've talked to. Our challenge today, of course, is to scale and get as many people on board as possible. On behalf of everybody, I certainly want to thank all of you for taking the time tonight and giving us the opportunity. We're really proud of the work that the architects have done, the vision of the district, the Foundation for Madison Public Schools, and really the inspiration of the faculty and students. We actually have one or two students on this committee, and one of the students said, I'm working on this because even though I'm not going to be around to enjoy the benefits of this, I want to make sure that those students that are coming after me will have a chance to take advantage of this, which is really quite mature and quite remarkable. So thank you, everybody. Carl, do you have anything you want to finish with, or Karen, as our fearless leaders?
Just to reiterate that we want everybody on the committee. This is grassroots. You're seeing a small part of the committee right now, but we need to get everybody involved. And we want you to communicate with us when you've got ideas or questions. The form that we send out, there's already a link there, but we'll send it again tomorrow. That's going to give you, that's your all-purpose form for saying, hey, I've got this idea, or hey, I want to be engaged in this way, in this project. And we're going to be there help you get involved. One of the big things that people can do right now, Jackie, you just posted this. This is the first Zoom. We've already planned, and this is for representatives, whether you're representing a club or your family or your class. This is the Zoom. This is the Zoom for representatives. We're having the big public one for everybody and their brother and their sister in Madison and beyond. We're going to do 2 of them on June 16th and 17th. And for people to help publicize that, and instead of 50 people attending, have 400 people attending the Zoom, that's job one. Again, we'll put those links and those resources in what we send people tomorrow. And with that, maybe that's it for tonight.
Okay,
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.